You don't have a motivation problem. You think you do. You tell yourself you just need more motivation, more energy, the right mood, the right moment. But that moment never comes. And even when it does, it doesn't last. You feel motivated for a day, maybe two, then it disappears. And you're back where you started, stuck, waiting again. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. It's emotional. It's temporary. And if your progress depends on motivation, you will always be inconsistent. So instead of chasing motivation, you need something stronger, something stable, something you can rely on even when you don't feel like it. Most people delay action because they don't feel ready. They think they need confidence first, clarity first, motivation first, so they wait. They prepare, they think, they plan, and they keep telling themselves, "I'll start when I feel ready." But readiness is a feeling, not a requirement. You don't feel ready before you act. You feel ready after you start. Action creates clarity. Action builds confidence. Action generates momentum. But if you wait for the feeling, you stay stuck. The truth is, you're never fully ready. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be doubt. And if you wait for those to disappear, you'll wait forever. So instead of asking, "Do I feel ready?" ask, "Can I start anyway?" Because starting is what changes everything. Motivation is based on how you feel. Discipline is based on what you do. When you rely on motivation, you act when you feel like it. When you rely on discipline, you act whether you feel like it or not. And that's the difference between inconsistency and progress. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, showing up even on low-energy days, doing the work even when it's boring, continuing even when there's no immediate reward. At first, it feels hard because you're going against your emotions. But over time, it becomes easier because your brain adapts to repetition. You don't need to feel motivated to start. You need to decide that you're going to do it anyway. Most people try to rely on willpower. They try to force themselves to focus, to stay disciplined, to resist distractions. But willpower is limited. It runs out. Your environment is more powerful than your intentions. If your phone is next to you, you will check it. If distractions are available, your brain will use them. Not because you're weak, but because your environment makes it easy. So instead of trying to fight distractions, remove them. Put your phone away. Close unnecessary tabs. Create a space where your only option is to work. When the environment supports your goal, discipline becomes easier. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your environment. One of the biggest reasons people lose motivation is because they focus too much on the end result, the big goal, the big outcome. And when progress feels slow, they get discouraged because the result feels far away. But progress doesn't happen in big leaps. It happens in small actions repeated consistently. Daily effort, small wins, tiny improvements. When you shift your focus from results to actions, everything changes. Instead of asking, "Am I there yet?" you ask, "Did I show up today?" That's something you can control. Results are delayed, actions are immediate, and when you focus on what you can control, you stay consistent. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll do it later," you create a pattern. Every time you delay, you reinforce that behavior. And over time, your brain learns that your decisions are optional. You say you'll do something, then you don't. That breaks trust with yourself. And once that trust is broken, everything becomes harder. Because you don't fully believe your own commitments anymore. So you negotiate. "I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. Just 5 more minutes." And those small negotiations add up. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Not perfectly. Not all at once. But consistently. Because self-trust is built through action. And once you trust yourself, discipline becomes natural. And here's the reality most people avoid. Waiting for motivation is comfortable. It gives you an excuse. If you're not motivated, you don't have to act. You don't have to risk failure. You don't have to face discomfort. But that comfort is what keeps you stuck. Because progress doesn't come from how you feel. It comes from what you do when you don't feel like it. That's the difference. You don't need more motivation. You need a system, a structure, a way of operating that doesn't depend on your mood. Because your mood will change. Your energy will change. Your feelings will change. But your actions don't have to. Start small. Show up even when you don't feel like it. Remove distractions. Focus on actions, not outcomes. And stop negotiating with yourself. You don't need to feel motivated. You need to move. Because motivation fades. But discipline builds. And the people who succeed are not the ones who feel the most motivated. They're the ones who keep going when they don't.